Welcome back, my friend. And today's topic is going to be why do we crave food at night? In case you're listening to me on audio and you want to check out my video, I'm wearing a lipstick after a long time. I invested in like a shade which was like supposed to be a little bit darker than my usual mauve, and it turned out to be a bit reddish. So it makes me nervous to wear it, but then I enjoy it. I've gotten like so many compliments from my clients. So here I am. If you want to check out my lipstick shade, please catch me on my YouTube platform or even on Spotify. I think you can see a video on there. So let's come to today's topic. Why do we crave food at night? Now, this is a common issue so many PCOS women face. And maybe like it might be someone who goes to work or those who are housewives or even students. They see this pattern where they do so well throughout the day, but at night there is like zero self control. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is something that we are coaching on a lot when I work with my client, my one-to-one client, working on their individual problems and finding specific solutions is what is available. But here I am going to share some common reasons why we do that, like especially in the nighttime cravings, and how to solve for it. So, number one reason of the nighttime craving, or like what am I mentioning about nighttime craving, is like there is dinner and there is like taking extra dinner, and this is followed by some more desserts or like some chips, and it just like continues until you're like satisfied and then you stop. So it's like it involves a lot of mindless numbing yourself out eating until your stomach starts to really hurt and then you stop, or you're like, I'm done, I think. So this is a problem for PCOS women because if we overeat carbohydrates specifically, we are going to land in trouble with insulin resistance. It's like a problem is not going to solve. Like we are going to experience irregular periods, we are going to experience facial acne, we're going to experience excess facial hair loss, infertility, and all of those complications, right? And gaining weight, another one. So, what are the reasons why this happens? This nighttime cravings. So, number one reason could just be that you might actually be hungry at night. Now, everyone has different times when they get hungry. And I ask my clients to notice when they get those hunger signals, those hunger pangs, or when you're low on energy, when you're distracted, when you're yawning, when you have that mild headache, slight dizziness, loss of focus, sleepiness. These are signals that you are sort of hungry, like your sugars are low. And in my membership, I never really recommend not eating when you're hungry. Like if you're hungry, eat something. But many times, my clients are busy with their work. And so they'll end up overeating when they're actually not hungry and they have the time. So we need to watch out for all these things. Now, if you're hungry and you have an opportunity to take a break and eat a little, not overeat, but eat something, please use that opportunity. But many of the times, we are not really hungry, but we are thirsty. So we want to differentiate between hunger and thirst. So we can do that by drinking a tall glass of water and seeing if the hunger is coming back. If the hunger is coming back, then most likely, especially if you're yawning and stuff, most likely your sugar has dipped. Now, you can eat during that time and like give yourself some sugar, some sustainable daytime eating sort of fuel, and not overeat at night, because if you overeat at night, that's gonna like not the sugar spike and not no activity during the night can like cause more of an insulin resistance. So first differentiate in the daytime as well whether you are actually thirsty. Drink water. Now, if the hunger packs keep coming or you're still not like feeling energized, most likely you are hungry, and make arrangements to eat something. Now, many of my clients, especially those who are trying to lose weight, they would force themselves to starve. They will use willpower because, they have the willpower during daytime. Um, so they will restrict themselves during the daytime more than is required. Like your body is telling you that I'm hungry during daytime when it needs food, but we restrict ourselves. So that means your body is going to send a lot of hunger cues at night when things are quiet and you have lost all your willpower, and you're going to go like at it, right? So when that happens, when everything has become quiet, when there are no more distractions, you can finally listen to those hunger signals. You can't just ignore it with work or studies or other people, right? Because it's just you and you. So we want to stop using willpower in the daytime when we get hungry. Instead, we want to plan nutritious, delicious meals during these times. Like most people will experience these hunger signals at specific times. And we want to eat at that time something nutritious. Also remembering to stop eating when we are full. So start paying attention to your body. It is guiding you with hunger and fullness signal. If you are swamped with work, tell yourself you're going to eat something soon in your break. If there are no breaks, please work on getting them. Also, carry some food so you can eat while working and you get some energy while you're physically working. So that's first reason, right? Like you are probably hungry. Now the second reason is for many nighttime eating is that it's freedom time. It's quiet time. It's alone time, personal time, right? Like one of my clients calls it her revenge time. The rebel in her comes out at that time and wants to eat and do whatever she wants. And this was me after work, always. Like I used to work like 12-hour shifts from 7:30 to 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. I used to leave home like at 6:45 and reach home by like 8:30. Like even if I've eaten at work, but that sheer discomfort of work, like it just accumulates by the end of the day when I used to get home. And I just kept on eating, kept on going to the fridge, eating until I fell asleep. My particular craving was for sweet and crunchy. So cookies were my go-to, or like any sort of sweet, crunchy things. And I would keep eating it until I was done. Now, I had the money, I had the food, I had the will to eat. So I kept on doing that until I started gaining weight. So most of the times it's nighttime is alone time, it's quiet time. No one is telling anyone to do anything. You're on your own, right? Like for me as a doctor, throughout the day, my nurses would tell me what to do. They would have constant requests. My patients are lined up. I have expectations to be places. There is a family to look after. There's a husband. All of that. Everyone becomes quiet at night. And that's why I used to love doing night shifts actually, because everyone is quiet and there's not much noise. But when you're worked the whole day and you're at home and there is like actually just time you and you, there is no one asking you to do more things for them. There is no do this doctor, do that doctor, or there is no emergency buzzers ringing, no phones ringing. When no one is watching how long you're on your social media or how long you took your lunch breaks. This was the time, that freedom time, right? Like this is my time and I want to like do whatever I want. So even when you are actually eating with your family, and this used to happen to me, and I've seen many overweight people or obese people in this pattern where the rebel in them, the angry woman comes out. And she's like, nobody disturb me while I'm eating, while I continue my binge. And it's a vibe when it's happening on its own. Like you don't have like a sort of a conscious control. You turn into this different person. So this used to be me after work. And so for many of us, when we are eating at night, it is a signal that something is missing during the daytime. So most of us will just force ourselves to not eat at night, but without solving the daytime problems, because we didn't get that comfort in the daytime. That's why we are comforting at night when we actually got the time. So the work has to be done for the daytime issues. right? And not focus so much at night. Nighttime is really not the problem here. So we need to answer a few questions, right? What are we really rebelling against at night? Like, what is it? What are we running from? What do we need a break from in the daytime? This is what is happening. We are using willpower, right? Are there any ways we can get it? Can I get some help if I need it? Are we feeling trapped at work or whatever we do in the daytime? So these are the questions which are like generating so much negative emotion during the day that you sort of explode with food at night. And like right now, you might listen to these questions but not answer any of them. Like you can pause this question and like write down all these questions and answer them, but you might not do it, right? But like when my client is on a session with me, I ask them that question, like, what happened? Why did you eat that way at night? Like, what was going on at work? Like, did something happen? And then slowly, she will start answering those questions. So this is what we do in coaching one-to-one, because every client is different. So whatever questions I gave here, they might not be applicable to you, but once I hear your story, I might be able to ask you like very specific questions. So that is the power of coaching. Once you solve those problems, like my problem was like, it's just too much. Like I didn't even like doing that work, but there was money involved in it. Like I was like, wow, there were so many amenities I had because I was working in that sort of job. Yes, I had to sacrifice my nighttime sleep once a week and then completely jeopardize my health and well-being, not pee, not eat when I'm hungry. Like those things were also happening. And at the same time, I was witnessing a lot of trauma, lot of pain, um, lot of heartbreaks in pregnant women, lot of anxiety. When I myself am so anxious, when I myself am so super sensitive. So like my brain would be in so much discomfort at work, and I would just like use a lot of willpower and come home and eat. And like that becomes evident now because I changed the whole profession to come into this, right? So that's what that nighttime eating was telling me, that this is too uncomfortable for us. We don't want to really do it. But I needed a lot of courage to leave that profession to come here. So you want to ask yourself, like, what is it really that you want? What is happening to you at work or during your studies? Or like, can we find some solutions to that? So not every doctor leaves medicine. It's just that I fancied coaching so much that it was easy for me to come here. Now, the next reason for nighttime eating can be that it is just a habit, a pure habit, that too a big one. A lot of us, including myself, have this issue. So don't be thinking that you're specially flawed and something is wrong with you. We are all in the same boat. I just moved ahead a little as I figured out some tools and I figured it out. And I still have that where, my brain will think something is wrong with me, but actually nothing is wrong with me. And so for you, like there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain might offer you that no one has solutions to my specific problem, but I do. Like life coaching has solutions for everything. So you're not broken. And if you think that, you are somehow specially flawed and no one can help you, that's not true. Just like I am not broken, even when I still think sometimes that I am like flawed somehow, but I'm not, right? Like you might not agree with me. And similarly, I don't agree with if you think that, something is like terribly wrong with you. So the reason why I know that you might think this deep at an unconscious level is because I used to think this way, right? And behave this way. And I used to not get supported because I used to think no one can really help me. I am like a gone case. So our habits are actually deep rooted, like a very old tree, like 50, 60-year-old tree. Like, have you seen a tree is chopped off, but then the roots are so deep, you can still see like when they're like building houses and they're digging things, they're like such deep, like the tree is gone, but the roots are still there. So the roots are like those habitual patterns, right? Like if you are someone who used to eat at night, like you have like a deep rooted belief system where it's a deep-rooted habit where you keep eating at night. And our brains are going to constantly ask us to do the nighttime eating, just like it asks us to like take a shower every morning, or like eat food when we're hungry, or like drink water, or like clean our bums after we do a poo poo or pee pee, right? So it's like a habit, this sort of nighttime eating for some of us. So if you have that habit of nighttime eating for years, you might be stuck in this habit. And the only way to break a habit is by breaking a habit, is by recognizing the efforts that you are taking in caring for how you are eating right now. Like you're really caring for it. So there needs to be a conversation. Like, yes, the reward needs to be given away, like where you don't do what you used to do, and that's how the habit is broken. But at the same time, simultaneously building up conversation around what efforts you're taking, the attempts that you're taking, and appreciating your attempts to break this old habit and forming a new one, right? Like caring for how you eat now, that you are caring for yourself right now, and that you're doing things differently, appreciating yourself. So if you find yourself overeating at night, even when you objectively care for what you think and feel, you might still be stuck in that habit, right? Like you think like I don't see myself, like I don't understand, like I got coached on it and still this thing is happening. Sometimes it can just be a habit. So engaging in two questions, like during every time you're eating, is like, am I hungry? Right? That, and like solving it with water first to check if it's thirst. If you're hungry and you start eating, like whatever portion you have taken, when you're halfway down your portion, you can ask yourself, am I full? So checking with your two body signals, hunger signal and fullness signals, this will prevent you from overeating, right? So you can engage this question even at night time, and you have to remind your brain to ask yourself these questions. And you can sometimes start doing it in daytime and then doing it at night time. So we need to form this new habit of not overeating at night. And in the beginning, it would be like planting a seed and watering it and giving it sunshine and not seeing anything for days, right? And slowly, slowly you start seeing a leaf. Now, there is an old habit which is like a big old tree with deep roots, and it would seem very compelling for you to try solving your emotional problems, or like to like do things as per your habit. But that old habit need to stop getting the nourishment. So if you just don't execute the habit of like overeating at night, that habit will slowly start to die. So I want to emphasize that a lot of us would try to stop that nighttime eating without resolving the main reasons for nighttime eating. So please don't do that. Don't just like force yourself to like stop overeating at night. Yes, you are forming a new habit, but the moment the old issue which made you overeat many years back comes back, you are back to solving it with emotional eating. So you have to solve that old problem or the core problem by your eating. So yes, it's a habit, we are breaking the habit, but also solve that. So don't subject yourself to feel all that frustration, apathy, tiredness at the end of the day, which is accumulated over the day's discomfort. Learn to solve for it. Learn to solve for that thinking which is generating those feelings. That is what we do on coaching calls. We solve the root cause of overeating. Once that is taken care of, you no longer need food to make you feel better. And there are many such reasons, but we need to start solving them if we want to like get freedom from food, like, and just like enjoy your life and enjoy eating, not in a disordered way. So if you have solve these emotional issues and you still see yourself eating out of habit at night, you deciding to stop when it's full might seem uncomfortable, and it's not impossible, because most of us who try to do this diet thing like for 3 to 6 months, I'm not going to eat dinner or like not eat too much, you will feel it's impossible, especially if you have not solved the emotional problem, especially if you start restricting yourself again. So Many clients will use a lot of willpower because they have paid a dietitian, they have paid a coach, they have got a fitness instructor, and they did all that for this other person, right? And when that person disappears, you just give in back because you remember all the discomfort you went through. So you don't want to do that again. And I can help you with that. And that is why it's important for you to stop trying to lose weight with your traditional diets and you do something more like my program, where I help you get to the root causes and help you figure out ways to meet your needs in new ways. Help you get courage to have the conversations you might need to have. Help you not feeling guilty. And this brings us to our last reason, the biggest reason why we do the nighttime eating, and that's guilt. This is when you have already overeaten, say last night, right? And you go to bed and you wake up feeling guilty. Your brain has evidence of like how you messed it up all over again. And we start the cycle of restriction. Because you messed up your dinner time, you're going to skip breakfast and tell yourself that you're going to exercise at night and starve throughout the day with a lot of willpower to make up for the last night's overeating. So not only are we now feeling guilty, but we are also punishing ourselves in the daytime, which is the normal time to eat. And guess what we turn to when we are feeling so guilty and we are feeling this punishment? We go to food. And we start the same cycle of overeating at night and then shaming and punishing in the daytime. So how do we solve this problem? So every time you feel shame, guilt, or regret, it can be solved with compassion. Being kind towards yourself where you are right now is the answer. So stop the emotional beating ups, that critical judgment that you're not good, you're weak, you don't have any willpower. All that is nonsense because you have enough willpower to do it in the daytime, right? It's just that you're using all of that willpower to not eat in daytime. Like, why not eat in the daytime? Why are you giving yourself this, like, the willpower disappears at the end, right? So stop that emotional beating up during one, like suppose you wake up in the morning and you feel guilty for overeating last night. Don't force yourself to like skip your breakfast. Be like, okay, no, today I'm gonna eat my breakfast when I'm hungry, have my lunch when I'm hungry, stop when I'm full. So by the time it's night, I don't have to overeat, right? Because I've eaten properly in the daytime. So if you don't interrupt that emotional beating, it's just gonna keep adding fuel to fire of nighttime eating. Like, what do you think is going to happen? You're just going to perpetuate that thing. It needs to be interrupted. Now, you're not doing anything bad as you binge at night. Let me just be clear. You're simply eating out of habit or hunger or not knowing how to deal with your emotional stressors or not knowing how to deal with guilt. Food is actually solving these 4 problems for you, right? But overeating needs to stop, especially if you're trying to reverse PCOS by losing weight and keeping it off permanently. So we are overeating at night not because we are emotionally weak or because something is wrong with us or because we are broken somehow or because we are bad humans. We are just someone who has an unmet need and we just need someone to show us how to meet these needs so we can have a better life. So we no longer have to depend on food to have a better life. If any of this resonates with you, stop hanging out in the podcast and book your free consultation with me. And let's see if you're ready for coaching. All right? Now you work on your nighttime eating and join me if you need me, or else I'll see you next week. All right? I'll see you next time. Bye.